Hello, this is Marko again, back with another video about my school journey. So today I'm going to be doing the last bit of my school journey. So let's get started. When I graduated from Hillside Middle School in 2013, I then went to high school. And I went to Normandy High School for 5 years. So I started in Normandy in August of 2013, and I went there from 8th to 12th grade. So, in 8th grade, I was in special education. I was in special education in high school because I have a disability and I needed extra help in school. So I was in special education. In my 8th grade year, I had a teacher, Mr. DeSantis and Ms. McNulty. And I had them, and they were special ed teachers. And they were special ed teacher and assistant. And I also had some other teachers in my classes too. I had Miss Rosalind and Miss Rosalind and Miss Bisler for English, Miss Koha and Miss Rush for math, Mr. Zarumba for music, and what else? I think that's pretty much it. And then in my 8th grade year, I also went on a DC trip along with my 8th grade class. My sister also joined us, and I had a really fun time. I also received a special pin from a security officer, and it was really fun too. We went on a cruise for the 8th grade trip, and it was fun. I was the man of the party. Okay, now let's get started. So in 8th grade, I took the school bus just like I did in middle school. Now in the beginning of 8th grade, I used to live really close to Normandy High School, but that was in an apartment. Then in 2013, at the end of 2013, me and my parents, we moved from our old apartment into our house where we live now. So then at the beginning of 2014, I had to change buses because the bus I was originally on was too far from my house, so I was on a different bus. So I was on a bus. Now I'm gonna tell you guys something. My house and Normandy are quite far, and as a matter of fact, they were so far that my new bus had to keep me on the bus for an hour and a half after school because they had another school. Because they had another school. A lot of buses have two schools. We have middle school and high schools. So and my bus didn't have enough time to drop me off, and my bus didn't have enough time to drop everyone else off and me off from school. Let me give you guys an example. I got out of school at 2:50, and then the elementary school let out at 3:30, and they didn't have enough time to drop me off and drop everyone else off and go to their elementary school. So they had to keep me on the school so they could pick up their elementary kids. Then in April 20, and I didn't finish my 8th grade school year because I left for Europe with my uncle who was visiting us, and I didn't finish my 8th grade school year. And that was the last time I actually went to Europe during my school year. I finished the rest of my school years, and I didn't go to Europe. Then in my 9th grade year, I returned to Normandy. And again, like in 8th grade, I had to do the bus, and I was on the bus again. And just like in 8th grade, I had to do the commute. So in 9th grade, I had many different teachers. I had many different teachers. I had for first period, I had English. I had Miss Wozniak and Miss Kensinger, and I was one of their best and favorite students because of what a great guy I was. Then second period, I had study hall with Miss Von Bacon. Third period, I had biology with Miss Sutyak and Miss Pagano. Fourth period, I ate lunch. Fifth period, first semester, I had teen foods with Miss Rowan. Then second semester I had money management with Mr. Carruthers. Sixth period I had U.S. history with Mr. McCann and Miss Newton. Seventh period I had math with Miss Diaz and Mr. Bears. In eighth period I also had Miss Diaz again for grit. And then also second period, my second semester, instead of my study hall, I had a gym class with Mr. Pro and some of the special ed kids. I was in an adaptive phys ed class because some people who are in special ed have to be in an adaptive phys ed class because of their disability. And I was in an adaptive phys ed class because of my disability. Now here's the thing. Like I mentioned before previously, it used to take me over an hour and a half just to get home in the afternoon on the bus. So that year I was considering when we moved from our apartment to our house, Normandy was no longer my home school. Actually, Valley Forge was my home school then. So I was considering actually going to Valley Forge for the remainder of my high school years. And then and two teachers who actually really liked me a lot, and I was going to have them for my sophomore year. When they found out that I would be transferring schools, they were very sad. Especially one of them, once he checked the class Rochester and didn't see my name on the class Rochester, she was really sad. So just so you guys know, I did go to my homeschool Valley Forge for a few days my sophomore year. But unfortunately, things didn't work out for me over at that school. So, some things happened, I didn't like that school. So, I was able to sort out my transportation, and I was able to not be on a bus anymore. I was able to be put on a van, a special van, which picks up and takes kids with disabilities to and from school. So my sophomore year I did that. Now my 10th grade year, when I came back to Normandy, I had first period I had world history with Miss Newton. I had world history with Mr. Kirby and Miss Judas. Second period I had English with Miss Kensinger again and Miss Englehart. Third period I had arts and crafts with Miss Joseph. Fourth period I had physical science with Miss San Pedro and Mr. McGowan. Now Miss San Pedro was one of the teachers who was looking forward to having me that year, and then when she found out that I wouldn't be coming back to Normandy because of my transportation issues, she was very sad. And so was Miss Judas. She was the other teacher as well. But we were able to sort out my transportation, and I was able to come back to Normandy. Now, fifth period after physical science, I had lunch. Sixth period, I had study hall with Miss Cook. Seventh period, I had math with Miss Riolo. With Miss Riolo and Miss Flada. And then eighth period, I had grit with Miss Judas. Now, I had a one-on-one aide with me that year. Her name was Miss Hockey, and she was a pretty great aide. And she was the one-on-one with me and my classmates. She was there to help us, and I spent pretty much my whole day with her. The only classes she wasn't with me were lunch and study hall, and all the rest of my classes she was with me. She was even with me in my grit class. Okay. Then my junior year of high school, I took a vocational, which is what some juniors and seniors take. Their last 2 years of high school. Okay. So my junior year, I was going to take radio and television, but I was in the process of looking for summer work, and they had a summer youth program which I could apply for. But the thing was that I had to take a class, a different vocational, so to be in that program, so I wouldn't be able to be in radio and television anymore. And so I chose to take that vocational instead of the radio and television. So I was in job training my first 3 periods of my junior year, I had Miss Broski and Miss Denser. They were my teachers, and they were both pretty great. Now we went to work in the community 4 days a week. We went Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday we were in classroom. Monday we were at Danny Boy's, and I did menus. I wiped the menus and the tables. And then Tuesdays we were at TJ Maxx, and I did no wait Tuesdays. I'm sorry. Tuesdays we were at Palmer Park and rec stuff. Sorry. And I did color coding and stuff. Wednesdays we were at TJ Maxx, and I did selfing, and I put things on the self and stuff. Thursday we were at the hospital, and there I did laundry, and I also helped deliver newspapers. And then after my job training class let out for today, I had English with Mr. Donahue and Miss Zerkowicz, and Miss Hockey also joined us that day as well. Miss Hockey also joined us for that class as well. Then after English, I ate lunch, and after lunch I had environmental science with Mr. Rockwell and Miss Riolo. That was really fun. I really liked this class. Especially Mr. Rockwell, he was a real cool teacher. Then after environmental science, I had first semester I had health, and then the second semester I had grit with Miss Watley. And then my last period of the day was my math class. Now, I was in a special ed math class because I couldn't do the math my friends do. Like, I couldn't do, like, algebra and geometry and stuff. So I was in a special ed math class with the special needs kids, and where they do, like, counting money and, and they do, like adding and taking away and stuff. So it was in that type of math class with the special education kids. And that was really fun. And my teachers were Miss Field, which she was my teacher my last 2 years of elementary school. And two of the aides were Miss Presco and Miss Morris. Now, my senior year of high school, which is my last year of high school, I had job training again, but I had Miss Denzer, but I didn't have Miss Broski again because she actually went to a different school that year. And she couldn't be my teacher anymore. But I had another pretty great teacher. His name was Mr. Buttrey, and actually he's a really great guy. And actually after I graduated high school, me and him have kept in touch, and he is actually now one of my best friends. And we actually have even hung out outside of school. And I've met his family. We have hung out outside of school and stuff. And every time I come back to visit Normandy, I make sure I visit him as well. Okay, then in job training my senior year, Monday we were at the hospital, and I did laundry. Unfortunately, I couldn't do newspapers again that year, which I was really bummed out about because I really liked doing that, but unfortunately, I couldn't. Tuesday, we were at TJ Maxx, and I did the same thing again. I did the stocking shelves and stuff, that kind of stuff. Then on Wednesday, we first started going to the Weekend Lizard, and I did like menus, and I washed tables like I did at Danny Boy's. And then Thursday, we were at Palmer Park and Rec, where I did color coding, and then after that I finished doing that, I shredded papers in the shredding in the like a shred thing. And actually I was so good at it, and when at the end of my senior year, we have a special ceremony for the seniors who are graduating from job training, and they win an award for which award I don't know. But I won the award for being the shred master, and actually I was so good at it. On my last day at that job site, one of the ladies actually got very sad, and she didn't want it because it was my last time, and she was sad to see me go. Then after job training was over for today, I had fourth period For my class for my first semester was my woodworking class with Mr. Casanova and Miss Steinley, which she was one of the special ed assistants, and I was with the special needs kids, and we built stuff in there. Then second semester, fourth period, I had with Miss Steinley and the special needs kids, I had a gym with Miss Murphy, and I was again in an adaptive PE class. Then fifth period, I had U.S. government with Miss Grovian and Mr. Jackson. And now let me guys tell you something, Mr. Jackson, he has also become one of my best friends as well, just like Mr. Buttery. And whenever I come back, and whenever I go to visit Normandy, I make sure I see him also. One of my favorite games to play with Mr. Jackson was actually was when he would try to take my lunchbox. So what he would do was, when I wasn't looking, he would try to take my lunchbox, and then I would scream and yell at him. Now sometimes I would stop him. Most of the time I would stop him just when he was about to do it. But sometimes when he was really sneaky, when I wasn't looking, he would take it. And it caused such a big commotion in the class. That was so funny. Now, I also knew a couple of the other U.S. government teachers, like Mr. Thomas. He was also one of my friends as well. And I had him for a few days my senior year before my schedule got changed and I couldn't have him anymore. Then I had Mr. Jackson. Instead, but I still saw Mr. Thomas. Then after U.S. government, I had lunch, and then after lunch, I had English with Mr. Raymond and Mr. Curizos and Miss Desafis. He was one of the special ed assistants, and she came in to help out that year. And then after English, I had math, and then with Miss Pescar again. And Mr. Quest, he was one of the special ed teachers. And then we also had one more assistant. The first assistant, I can't remember her name. Was it Miss Holmes or something? I can't remember. But then she left because she had to go to a different school. Then we had Miss G. And I can't remember her full name, but it was Miss G. And then, okay. Now, and then I also had physical therapy all throughout my years of high school. Okay, all throughout my years of high school with Miss Boyd, and we would do a walk every year except my junior year because that year Miss Hockey did my walk with me, and then my senior year I also practiced walking across the stage at my high school graduation with Miss Boyd, and I also practiced doing that. And then I also practiced doing that outside of school because I had physical therapy outside of school as well, and I practiced doing that with my therapist at this place called LifeWorks as well. And when my graduation day came, guess what? I crossed the stage, and everybody was so proud of me. Now, I got the most applause, and I think I got so much applause, my mom actually cried when she was taping the video. And then after I finished high school, I decided I didn't want to go to college because high school was always a struggle for me. So I skipped high school and just went to work. Now, my junior year, how I got to school, my sophomore year, and my junior year and my senior year, how I got to school. My sophomore year, I got to school is Suburban School Transportation would come to get me. That is a special van company, and they transport kids with disabilities to and from school, and they would come to get me. Then my junior year, I was able to take the bus again, me and one other young man, and then we were able to take the bus to Normandy, and then in the afternoon, Suburban would come to get me and take me home. And then my senior year, I didn't take Suburban at all. Instead, I took the bus, and it didn't take me to get long, to home. It didn't take me very long to get home at all. Now, and then also, I went to all my school homecoming dances. I even attended a basketball game. I even attended some basketball games, and I even attended a special fundraiser for one of my old teachers, Miss Wozniak, her daughter, Brianna. She has a disability, and we had a special fundraiser for her, and I was able to attend that, and my teachers were so excited and happy to see me there. Now for me, and I also went to my school's prom as well. Now for my school's homecoming and prom, I had a really great time. I was able to dance there a lot with my friends, and I saw a lot of my teachers, and it was a lot of fun. And my school senior prom was also a lot of fun too. I danced a lot. I had a real nice time, and that's it. Okay, guys, Happy New Year. Have a great year in 2024, and I'll see you guys next year. Bye.